we're looking at slow dancing in a burning room today. It's the Live in LA version. We've got it in 6 sections, so we've got the 2 intros, we've got the verse, chorus, the bridge and the first solo. I'll do the second solo in a separate video. This is a Patreon request, so all the tabs are on there. If you want to go grab them, you can do that. So let's go for a playthrough and then we'll check it out. Okay guys, so for this first intro, we're going to move relatively quickly because there's a lot to get through and otherwise the lesson will go on for ages. We're going to start 8 on the G, 9 on the D. For this bit he's using his fingers and then he uses his pick later on. So we're just going to pick those 2 notes out. Then we're going to come to 11 on the A and 11 on the D. Then 9 on the D, 11 on the A. And then back to 8 and 9. And then slide that up to 9 and 11. That's our first line. Then we come to 9 and 9 on the B and G, 11 on the G, 9 on the G, and then slide 11 down to 7 on the D. Then we just pick the A, so he's playing A like a Hendrix style. And then we come down to this E, which we'll see a lot, which is 6th on the D, 4 on the G, 5 on the B. So that first line, nice and slow. Okay, and we slide 9 to 11 on the A, 11 on the D, then 8 and 9 again, 9 and 11 again, and then a little stop. Then we come back to 8 and 9, grab the 2 11s, A and D again. Then we pick those 2 9s again, B and G, and we do it twice. Then 11, 9 on the G, and then another little mute. Then we come back to the A again. This time we separate the bass and then we pick 2 trebles, which is the G, B and D. Back to the E to finish that line. So all the way through that line. Then we just have stay in the E position, and we're going to pick it, slide our ring finger forward to 7, then come back to the E, and then pick 11 on the D, 12 on the A. Then come back to 6 and 7, G and D, then you're going to slide just your ring finger back to 6. Then pick the 4th fret of the D, 7th fret of the A, and then 5th fret of the bass with your thumb. Because we're going to pick the A twice, and then come back to E. So that little bit. Then we come up to 2 9s, B and G. Then we're going to slide 10 and 11 forwards to 12 and 13. Come back to the 2 9s. That's just the first bit. Then we play 11 on the G, 9 on the D. Swap them round. Then go back to 8 and 9 again. 11 on the A and then the D. 2 nines, same strings. Then we stay on those same 2 notes and we're going to hammer on to the 11th fret of the A. Then pick the 2 nines, G and D, back to 11 on the A. So that whole line. Back to an A. Just need to scroll my tab down. So we come to an A. Then the little finger comes into the 7th fret of the B. You pick it twice. Second time when you pick it, you slide forwards 2 frets with all 3 of those fingers. And then you finish on an E. Okay? Then you come up to the 2 12s on E and B, and then slide back 14 and 13, B string and G string, back to 12 and 11, and it's a quick little gliss slide. Then 14 and 11 on the D. This bit repeats around. Just on the first one there's these 2 little kind of ghost 9s, B and G. You just hear them really faintly in the background. Okay, then you do that same thing again, but don't play the 9s. Then we go back into that 11 and 12 shape. We hammer on to the 13th fret of the G, and then we slide 14 and 13 back to 12 and 11 again. Okay, so that whole bit nice and slow. And then we just finish that by going A, E. Then we just got 2 lines to go. 12th fret of the B, then pull off 11 to 9 on the G. Then we're picking more of these pairs, 8 and 9 again, up to 9 and 11. Then slightly different, we come up to the 11th fret of the G with our first finger, and then middle finger grabs the 12th fret of the B. And then back to 9 and 11 in the middle. Then we do pretty much the same thing again. First 3 notes the same, 8 and 9, 9 and 11, 11 and 12. Same shape now moves back 2 frets. Then grab it so it's both 9s, B and G. And then 9 and 11 in the middle again. So that whole line. Then just to finish we go A to E backwards and forwards. We're going to pick them all together and then hammer on to the 7th fret of the B with your little finger. Come back and pick the E. Do that 3 times. Then just on the last one we finish off this E shape by bringing our little finger to the 7th fret of the A string, and if you can grab the bass as well, it sounds really nice. So that last bit. And then you're into the second intro. Okay guys, just to say we're looking at John Mayer's part here, we're not doing the high part by Robbie McIntosh. He's also switched to a pick by this point. I'm just going to keep my fingers so that I can show you a couple of bass notes if you want to add those in. So we're going to start sliding the 9th fret of the A to the 11th fret. We're going to pick the 9th fret of the G, and then we're going to play the bass 9, and then 9 and 11 on the G and the D. Effectively now we're just playing C sharp minor, A, E, round and round. Okay, then you're going to slide into that 9 and 11, come back to 8 and 9, same strings, then go 11 and 11, D and A, and then 9 and 9, same strings. We're going to see that a lot, that's the main line. Then we come back to our A, but we're going to grab 5 on the bass, 4 on the G, 5 on the B. It's going to be an A+2, and we're going to hammer into the 6th fret of the G. Take that finger off, and then we're going to do a little bar, 4th fret of the D and the G, and we're going to hammer into the 6th fret of the D, and we're going to pick all 4 strings, bass and the D, G and B. Okay, so that whole line, nice and slow. Then we're going to slide from the 6th fret to the 11th on the D, pick the 9th fret of the G, bass 9 again, and then 9 and 11. Then we do that main line again. And then we have a slightly different one. You can grab the 5 on the bass, or the open A, and then we're going to hammer the 4th fret to the 6th fret of the D, back to the 4, 7th fret of the A, back to the 4 of the D, and then 7th fret of the A and the open bass string. Okay, so that second line all together. Then we come back to the 2 9s in the middle, G and D. We're going to hammer into the 11th fret of the G. Then we're going to pick the 2 9s together. Then we're going to play the 11th fret of the D, 9th fret of the G, 11th fret of the D, and then 9 and 11 together. Then this next line we'll see a lot in the verse. We're going to hammer on 9 to 11 on the A, play the 9th fret of the D, back to the 11 on the A. Then we pick the 2 9s, G and D again, hammer into the 11th fret of the G, and then do the same thing, hammer on pull off, and finish on 11th fret of the D. So that whole little bit. Then we come back and we're going to play the 5th fret. It's going to be that same A hammer on that we had the first line. But this time we don't hammer on into the E, we just play an E. So that whole line, nice and slow. That jump can be quite quick when you jump to the A, just takes a little bit of practice. Then we have this lovely little line to get back to our C sharp minor. We play the 4th fret of the G, 7 6 4 on the D, 7 on the A, and then slide the bass string to the 9th fret. And then you're back into the 9 and 11 in the middle as our little C sharp minor. Then we have 2 9s again, D and G, hammering into the 11th fret of the G, back to the 2 9s, this time hammer onto the 11th fret of the D, 2 9s, and and then we play the 6th fret of the D, 4th fret of the G, 7, 6 on the D, and then we take the 6 on the D, 7 on the A, and the bass 0 to lead us into the verse. So just play through that last line nice and slow. Verse, we just have 3 chords. We've got C sharp minor twice, and then A, and then a bar of E. So what we're going to do with our C sharp minor is we're going to bar it 9th fret from the D to the E with your first finger, thumb plays the bass, ring finger plays the 11th fret of the G. Okay. This verse pattern sort of follows around for about 90% of it. The other bits are just little C sharp minor pentatonic fills. You can add those in and improvise them as you like. We're going to pick the bass note, and then we're going to do a down strum. Then we're going to do a lick that we saw in the intro. We're going to play A's going to hammer on 9th fret to the 11th. Then we're going to go to D, 9th fret, 11th fret of the A. Then hammer on 9th fret to the 11th fret, pull off on the G. And then slide the 11th fret to the 7th on the D. Take our A chord in the Hendrix style. Thumb plays the bass, and then we down strum, and then we go to our E triad we had before, and down strum. Then we have this little bit of picking, where you can add in some bass notes as well, as I did in the second playthrough. We're going to keep that same chord. We're going to pick the B string, D string, G string, and then you can either play the bass or pick the D again, and then go B, G, D. So I'll just play through the verse half speed, and this repeats 4 times. Okay, so for the chorus, we're going to start on a B, so Hendrix chord 7th fret, and then we're going to come up to C sharp minor, and then to A for our first line. On the B, we're going to go down, down, up, then we do a down, and we do a hammer on to the 9th fret of the B, then we do a down, up, then we do a down and pull off again, then we do a down, up, and then we do a down and we do a hammer on, and then we just do they take that finger off and do a down strum. So nice and slow. Then we come up to C sharp minor, down, down, up. Sorry, down, up, down. Then back to A, where we go down, 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 up, down, up. So I'll just play through that whole line nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line is exactly the same. Apart from when we get to where we would go to the A, we come to the F sharp minor. So it looks like the C sharp minor, but at the 2nd fret, and your ring finger's on the 4th fret of the D, and then we do the down, 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 up there. So I'll just play through that line at half speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we just have a C sharp minor lick to finish, which is the slow dancing in a burning room bit. We're going to do two down strums. Then we're going to do a hammer on from the 9th fret. It's kind of a down strum, and you're going to hammer on the 11th fret of the D. And then you're going to do a strum with just the 9s. So it sounds like that. And then we're kind of aiming for roughly around the 12th fret of the bass. It doesn't really matter because you're just going to slide to nothing, and then you're going to slide back into the 5 with your thumb, because we're going to play an A. So from that C sharp minor. And then we do our down, up, down, and then we finish on an E. And then you're back into the intro. So for the bridge, we have an F sharp minor to start with, up to a C sharp minor, then a B, and then back to F sharp minor. In the right hand, on the F sharp, we're going to go down, up, down, then come up to the C sharp minor, down, up, down, and then down, up, down, up. So from the F sharp. Then B to F sharp minor, same thing right hand. Then we do exactly the same thing again. Then we do the F sharp minor, C sharp minor thing again. Then we go B to A. Then we finish on that same lick that we finished on before, when you finish the chorus. So that's the same. That leads you into the outro, which is just C sharp minor, A, E. On the C sharp minor, what he does is he adds his little finger to the B string 12th fret, and then we're just strumming down ups effectively. Then A, as before. And we just keep doing that into the second solo. Okay, so for our first line, we're going to play the 9th fret of the B, hammer onto the 12th fret. And then we come up to the 14th fret. We're going to do a full step bend, and then bring it back. Then we come back to the 9th fret of the B, and we do a 1.5 step bend. We want to get to the 12th fret. You need to quite a big bend there. Then we have the 11th fret of the G. As you bend it up, you pick the 12th fret of the B, and then bend it back. And then you do a pull off to the 9th fret. Then you pick the 11th fret again and pull off to the 9. And then slide, last bit, 9th fret of the A string to the 11th fret, and then slide to nothing. Okay, then we have the 9th fret of the B, then a little half bend of the 12th fret, and you pick the 9th fret of the E, sorry. Then we have this repeated line. We're going to pick the 12th fret of the E, bend it up, and then we're going to do a little double bar of the 2 9s and pick the E string, then the B string. Then we do that again. Then we pick the 12 to a full step bend, and then we pick the 12th. Sorry, that one just stops at the top. Then we have a tiny little run-on. We're going to pick the 9th fret of the E and then pull off the 12th fret to the 9th fret of the B. Then we pick the 11th fret of the G, we bend it up a step, release the bend and pull off. Then we play the 11th fret of the D. And then we'll just go through that bit and then we'll come back to the rest. So from the rundown. Then we're going to pick the 11th fret of the G, bend it up and kill it at the top. Then pick the 9th fret to the 11th, and then do a hammer-on pull-off with those 2 notes. Then the last bit, we got the 11th fret of the G, 12th fret of the B. John Mayer plays it like this with his index and his ring. You could also do it with your middle finger. He likes to do it so you can help use that to mute. We're going to slide it forwards 2 frets, slide it back, slide it forwards, slide it back. Then pick the 13th fret of the G, slide it quickly back to the 11th, so a gliss slide, and then pull off to the 9th. Pick it again, and slide it out. Okay, so I'll play through the whole thing at half speed. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that lesson. The solo, as I said, will be up in the second video, so I'll put that up. If you like the design of the guitar, the link to my buddy's website is in the description below. And if you could subscribe to the channel, I'll see you very soon.